I watch Vanessa's perfectly manicured hand rest possessively on my brother's arm, and something inside me shifts, like tectonic plates grinding beneath the surface, waiting for the earthquake. Marcus has been such an inspiration, she announces to the gathered crowd at their engagement party. Without his guidance, his sister Lydia might never have achieved what she has with her little tech company. The crystal champagne flute trembles slightly in my hand. The grand ballroom of the Meridian Hotel suddenly feels too warm, too cramped, despite its soaring ceilings and glittering chandeliers. I force my fingers to still, watching the bubbles rise in my untouched drink. My name is Lydia, and I built $100 million company from my wheelchair, while my inspirational little brother was still in graduate school. But apparently, that's not the story Vanessa wants to tell. It's remarkable how family support can lift us all up, she continues, her voice carrying that practiced warmth that never quite reaches her eyes. Marcus has such a gift for nurturing potential in others. Elena, my COO and best friend, squeezes my shoulder. I can feel her tension without looking up. She knows what this moment costs me, knows the years I spent proving I didn't need anyone's help or pity. To family, Vanessa raises her glass, her diamond engagement ring catching the light, and to all the success that comes from standing together. The irony of her word choice isn't lost on me. I adjust my position in my wheelchair, making sure my own designer dress falls properly. The gathered crowd, a mix of family friends, business associates, and Marcus's architectural firm colleagues, echoes the toast. Marcus beams at his fiancée, completely blind to the subtle daggers she's throwing. And to my amazing sister, he adds, raising his glass in my direction, who's always been my inspiration. I meet his eyes and manage a smile, remembering the little boy who used to race my wheelchair down hospital corridors, making engine noises to make me laugh. How did he end up with someone like Vanessa? Lydia, a familiar voice cuts through my thoughts. I didn't expect to see Derek here. I turn to find Ryan, my ex and current freelance consultant, nodding toward the entrance. Sure enough, Derek Matthews, my biggest rival in the tech sector, is making his way through the crowd. His presence at my brother's engagement party makes about as much sense as a shark at a pool party. Neither did I murmur, watching as he exchanges air kisses with Vanessa. There's something familiar in their interaction, a comfort that suggests this isn't their first meeting. Want me to run interference? Ryan offers, but I shake my head. No, I need to see how this plays out. I navigate my chair through the crowd, noting how people part around me with that particular mix of awkward courtesy and careful avoidance I've grown used to. Vanessa spots my approach and whispers something to Derek that makes him smirk. Derek, I say smoothly, I wasn't aware you and my future sister-in-law were acquainted. Oh, Vanessa and I go way back, he replies, his smile sharp as a blade. We share some interesting, mutual interests. How fascinating. I maintain my pleasant expression while my mind races. Derek's company has been trying to poach our clients for months, using increasingly aggressive tactics. His presence here, his familiarity with Vanessa, it's not coincidence. Lydia, darling, Vanessa interrupts, you look a bit peaked. Perhaps you should rest. These long events must be so taxing for you. The concern in her voice is perfect, just concerned enough to seem caring, just patronizing enough to sting. I see several nearby guests exchange glances, their pity palpable. Actually, I reply, I feel wonderful. In fact, I was just about to ask Derek about his recent failed attempt to acquire Startup Hub. That must have been taxing for you. Derek's smile freezes. Vanessa's hand tightens on her champagne glass. And in that moment, watching their matched expressions of carefully controlled anger, I know with absolute certainty that they're working together. The question is, what game are they playing? And why have they chosen my brother's engagement party to make their first move? I take a sip of champagne, letting the bubbles burn my throat. Whatever they're planning, they've just made their first mistake. They've underestimated me. Again. It won't be their last mistake, but it will definitely be their most expensive one. The email from Marcus's firm hits my inbox at 3 a.m. I'm still awake, reviewing security footage from the engagement party, watching Derek and Vanessa's interactions on an endless loop. The subject line reads, Project Meridian, Lead Architecture Role Reassignment. My fingers freeze over the keyboard. Project Meridian is Marcus's baby, a sustainable housing development that could revolutionize urban living. He's been working on it for 2 years. The email confirms my worst fears. Due to restructuring needs, Marcus has been moved to a supporting role. The new lead architect? Vanessa Crawford. Elena, I call out, knowing she's still in her office down the hall. We often work late together. I need you to see something. She appears in my doorway, coffee mug in hand. I spin my monitor toward her, watching her expression shift from exhaustion to sharp focus. 3 months, she says, scanning the email. That's how long it took her to push him aside. Your brother must be devastated. Actually, he's thrilled. I pull up Marcus's social media post from an hour ago, a photo of him and Vanessa celebrating her promotion, his smile wide and genuine. He thinks it's wonderful that they'll be building their dream together. Elena sets down her mug with more force than necessary. Have you looked into her background yet? Ryan's working on it. I wheel away from my desk, moving to the wall of windows overlooking the city. But there's something else. The timing of this promotion, Derek showing up at the party, it's too coordinated. You think Derek's involved in your brother's architectural firm? I think... My phone buzzes. Ryan's name flashes on the screen. Ryan, what did you find? His voice comes through, tense and low. You need to see this. Sending it now. My tablet chimes with an incoming document. As I scan it, my throat tightens. Son of a bitch. What is it? Elena moves behind me, reading over my shoulder. Vanessa didn't just join Marcus's firm by chance. She was placed there by a shell company, one that traces back to Derek's corporate umbrella. She's been his plant from the beginning. But why? What does your brother's firm have to do with... Elena stops, her eyes widening. The land deals. Your brother's firm handles all the property acquisitions for their development projects, including sites that would be perfect for data centers. The pieces click into place. Derek's been trying to expand his server infrastructure, but he can't get the prime locations. Unless he has inside access to upcoming development deals through Marcus's firm. Elena's voice hardens, and now Vanessa's in charge of project selection. My phone buzzes again, a text from Marcus. Having celebration dinner at La Maison tomorrow night. Please come. Vanessa specifically requested you be there. Of course she did. I can almost see her smirk. What are you going to do? Elena asks. I wheel back to my desk, pulling up our company's portfolio. Remember that empty lot we bought last year for tax purposes? The one next to Marcus's Meridian project site? The one you said we'd never use because it's too small for our needs? Call our lawyers. I want development permits filed by morning. We're building there. Building what? I allow myself a small smile. A data center, right where Vanessa and Derek want to put their luxury condos. Let's see how they handle some competition. Elena's quiet for a moment. This could hurt Marcus too. His project will be fine. Better than fine. I pull up another screen, starting to type. Because I'm going to offer his firm an exclusive contract to design our facility. One that specifically requires the original Project Meridian lead architect. You're going to force Vanessa to either give Marcus back his position or lose the contract. And if Derek wants that land, he'll have to come to me directly. I send the email to Marcus's firm's board of directors. No more hiding behind proxies and manipulated relationships. Elena picks up her coffee, studying me. You know this makes you as manipulative as they are. No, I correct her, watching the email status change to delivered. This makes me better at it than they are. They're playing chess. I'm changing the whole damn game. My phone buzzes one final time. Another text from Marcus. Vanessa says to wear something nice tomorrow. She has big news to share. I bet she does. I text back a simple, looking forward to it. The city lights flicker outside my window like stars falling into darkness. Tomorrow night, I'll sit across from Vanessa and smile and congratulate her. I'll watch her try to maintain control of a situation that's already slipping through her fingers. And then I'll start taking back everything she thought she could steal from my family. La Maison's private dining room feels like a gilded cage tonight. The crystal chandelier catches every subtle movement, turning simple gestures into shadow plays against the cream-colored walls. I notice how Vanessa positions herself, always slightly above everyone else, perched on the edge of her chair like a bird of prey. The board was unanimous, she announces, swirling her wine. We're consolidating Project Meridian with the Riverside development. Marcus will oversee the environmental impact studies, while I handle the core design elements. Marcus beams at her from across the table. It's brilliant, really. Combining the projects doubles our budget and visibility. I set down my fork, the sea bass turning to ash in my mouth. Riverside is Derek's pet project, a massive mixed-use development that would give him control over prime real estate for his data centers. And now Vanessa's merged it with my brother's sustainable housing initiative. Fascinating timing, I say, keeping my voice level, considering our company just filed permits for that adjacent lot. Vanessa's smile doesn't waver, but her knuckles whiten around her wine stem. Oh, I hadn't heard. The board notification went out this morning. Marcus should have received it, given his position. Marcus frowns, reaching for his phone. I haven't seen any. Because I had it redirected to my team, Vanessa interrupts smoothly. No need to burden you with administrative details, darling. A new voice cuts through the tension. Hope I'm not interrupting. Derek Matthews stands in the doorway, looking exactly like someone who planned his entrance down to the second. Vanessa mentioned you'd all be celebrating tonight. Derek! Vanessa stands to greet him with practiced surprise. What a wonderful coincidence. I watch Marcus's expression shift from confusion to polite welcome, still completely blind to the performance unfolding around him. My hands grip my wheelchair's armrests until they hurt. Actually, Derek says, pulling up a chair, this isn't entirely coincidental. We have an announcement. My stomach drops as I see where this is going. Elena's latest intelligence report flashes through my mind. Derek's recent stock purchases, shell companies, quiet acquisitions. Riverside Development is merging with Matthews Tech, Vanessa announces. Derek's company will be our primary technology partner, handling all the smart home and infrastructure integration. Which means, Derek adds, his eyes locked on mine, your permit application might face some complications, given the potential conflict of interest. Marcus looks between us, finally sensing the undercurrent. Lydia, why didn't you tell me you were planning to build there? When should I have done that? The words come out sharper than intended. While Vanessa was redirecting your emails? Or maybe during all those project meetings you've been excluded from? That's not fair, Marcus starts, but Vanessa places a hand on his arm. Your sister's just worried about you, she soothes. But she needs to understand that things change. Evolution is natural in business. Evolution? I laugh, the sound harsh in the elegant room. Is that what we're calling corporate espionage now? Lydia! Marcus's voice cracks with shock. Show him, I demand, staring at Vanessa. Show him the shell company paperwork. Tell him how long you've been working with Derek. Tell him about the clients you've been diverting. I think, Derek interrupts, you're letting your imagination run wild. Stress can do that, especially with your condition. The patronizing concern in his voice makes my blood boil. But before I can respond, Vanessa delivers the coup de grace. Marcus, I didn't want to say this yet, but... She takes his hand, expression perfectly concerned. I'm worried about Lydia. The board members have been talking. Her recent behavior, these paranoid accusations. Some think it might be affecting both companies' reputations. Marcus looks devastated, torn between his fiancée and his sister. I see the exact moment he chooses, not with words, but with silence. If you'll excuse me, I say, pushing back from the table. I seem to have lost my appetite. Lydia, wait. Marcus starts to stand, but Vanessa keeps her hold on his hand. Let her go, she says softly. She needs time to accept. Things are changing. I wheel toward the door, my movements precise and controlled despite the rage burning through me. At the threshold, I pause. Congratulations on the merger, I say without turning. I hope you all enjoy working together, because after tonight, every single one of you is going to learn exactly what I'm capable of when I stop playing nice. The door closes behind me with a soft click, barely masking Vanessa's quiet laugh. They think they've won. They think they've isolated me, outmaneuvered me, beaten me. They have no idea what's coming. Grace's office always reminds me of a chess master's study, all dark wood and strategic positioning. She sits behind her massive desk, examining the documents I've spread before her, while I watch the city lights flicker through the rain-streaked windows. These shell companies, she says finally. They're elegant, almost too elegant. Meaning? Meaning someone helped them set this up. Someone who knows how we operate. She taps a particular document. These routing numbers, they're using our old system, the one we abandoned after the Matthews Tech lawsuit 3 years ago. The implications hit me like a physical blow. An inside job. Lydia, Grace's voice carries a warning. Before you go down this path, remember, revenge is like a borrowed blade. It cuts both ways. My phone buzzes. Elena, marking the third call I've ignored tonight. I silence it without looking. They're trying to take everything, I say. The company, the Meridian Project, my brother's trust. I can't just... Dr. Anderson's office. My assistant's voice crackles through the intercom. They're insisting it's urgent. Ice spreads through my veins. My quarterly medical review isn't for another month. Put them through, Grace says before I can object. The doctor's voice fills the room, clinical and careful. Miss Chen, we've received some concerning information about your recent cognitive evaluations. Given your position as CEO, we're obligated to notify the board if there are any signs of, who sent you my records? The question comes out sharp enough to cut. A pause. Miss Crawford provided documentation suggesting I end the call. The silence that follows feels like the moment before an avalanche. She's trying to have me declared unfit, I say quietly, using my medical condition to force a competency review. Grace's expression hardens. She's overplaying her hand. We can fight this. Can we? Marcus is on their board now. If he backs Vanessa's claims about my recent behavior... My phone buzzes again. Elena. This time I answer. Turn on the financial news, she says without preamble. Now. Grace already has the wall screen activated. The headline scrolls across the bottom. Matthews Tech announces surprise acquisition of Startup Hub. Major tech sector shakeup. Startup Hub. Our biggest client. The one that just signed an exclusive 5-year contract with us last month. That's impossible, I breathe. The contract was invalidated, Elena cuts in. They're claiming we breached confidentiality terms. Vanessa leaked emails showing we shared proprietary information with competitors. But we never... I stop, remembering. The redirected communications. She had access to Marcus's email. She could have created a paper trail making it look like we did. Yes. Elena's voice cracks slightly. Lydia, the stock is already dropping. Investors are panicking. Grace is already pulling up our financial dashboard. The numbers are bleeding red. You have 2 choices, she says, her voice eerily calm. Fight this legally, which could take months we don't have, or stop playing by their rules entirely. My phone lights up with a text from Marcus. We need to talk, alone. Please. Another follows immediately. I found something in Vanessa's files. Something about Mom and Dad's accident. The room seems to tilt slightly. Our parents' car accident happened 12 years ago, long before Vanessa entered our lives. What could she possibly... Lydia? Grace prompts softly. What's your play? I stare at Marcus's text, feeling something shift inside me. Not breaking, but hardening. Like steel under heat. Call Ryan, I tell Elena. Tell him to activate Project Ghost. All the contingencies we discussed. Everything we prepared, but never used. It's time. That could destroy both companies, Grace warns. There will be no coming back from it. Good. I wheel toward the door, my decision crystallizing with each turn of the wheels. Because I'm done trying to come back. From now on, we're going forward. Through them, if necessary. And Marcus? Grace asks quietly. Are you prepared to sacrifice his happiness too? I pause at the doorway, remembering my brother's face at dinner, the way he couldn't meet my eyes. Happiness built on lies isn't happiness at all, I say. It's just another prison, and I'm about to break everyone out of theirs, whether they want it or not. The door closes behind me with a sound like a gavel falling. Somewhere in the city, Vanessa and Derek are probably celebrating their victories, thinking they've won. They're about to learn that some people are most dangerous when they have nothing left to lose. The storage facility's security panel beeps as Marcus enters the code. Even in the dim light, I can see his hands shaking. We haven't spoken since the dinner disaster 3 days ago, but his text about our parents' accident brought us here, to the unit where we stored their belongings after their deaths. It was in Vanessa's personal cloud, Marcus says, rolling up the metal door. Encrypted files about Mom and Dad's company, dated 2 weeks before the accident. She shouldn't have had access to any of this. The musty air hits me as we enter. Cardboard boxes line the walls, each labeled in Mom's precise handwriting. Marcus pulls out his phone, bringing up a document. Look at this, he says, handing it to me. The timestamp on the original file, 12 years ago, the day before their car crashed. My throat tightens as I scan the document. technical specifications for a failed project, seemingly innocuous except for one detail. Derek Matthews' signature at the bottom. Keep reading, Marcus urges. The next page makes my hands go cold. A series of emails between our parents and Derek discussing a potential merger. The last one, sent hours before the accident, contains a thinly veiled threat from Derek about unfortunate consequences if they backed out. There's more, Marcus says quietly. Vanessa's father, he was Derek's head of security back then, the one who handled all their special problems. The implications hit me like a physical blow. She knew. All this time, she knew. My phone buzzes. Elena again. I've been ignoring her calls since activating Project Ghost, but this time I answer. They're moving faster than we expected, she says without preamble. Derek just called an emergency board meeting at Matthews Tech, and Vanessa's cousin Leo was seen entering their legal department an hour ago. Marcus's expression shifts as he overhears. Leo? He told me he was in Singapore this week. He lied, I say flatly. Like everything else in this mess. Lydia, Elena continues, if we're going to implement Ghost Protocol, it has to be now. Once they start the legal proceedings, do it. I cut her off. All of it. Wait, Marcus interrupts. What's Ghost Protocol? Before I can answer, both our phones chime simultaneously. Breaking news alert. Matthews Tech announces surprise acquisition bid for Chen Innovations. Hostile takeover imminent. Marcus stares at his screen. This is impossible. The board would never... They already have, I say, pulling up the real-time stock tracker. Our shares are in free fall. Vanessa's been laying the groundwork for months. The medical review, the leaked emails, the lost contracts, it was all to drive down our value for this moment. Then we fight it, Marcus says firmly. Together. I'll resign from the firm, testify about what I found. It's too late. I wheel toward the storage unit's door. I've already launched our counterattack. What do you mean? Project Ghost. A dormant virus in Matthews Tech's systems, installed months ago when they tried to hack us. By now, it's replicating through their networks, corrupting their data, exposing every illegal deal they've ever made, including, I suspect, evidence about our parents' accident. Marcus goes pale. You'll destroy both companies. No, I correct him. I'll destroy everything they built on lies. The truth can survive the fire. My phone buzzes again. Grace this time. Lydia. Derek's on his way to your location. Vanessa told him about the storage unit. I look at the boxes surrounding us. 12 years of our family's secrets waiting to be exposed. Good. Let him come. Lydia, Marcus says softly. What happened to you? This isn't you. I meet his eyes, seeing the brother who once raced my wheelchair through hospital halls, who believed in happy endings and honest love. You're right. The old me died with our parents. Vanessa and Derek just helped me realize it. Through the open door, I hear car tires on gravel. Headlights sweep across the facility's walls. Last chance, Marcus, I say quietly. Choose a side. He looks at his phone, probably a message from Vanessa, then slowly puts it away. I already did, he says. 12 years ago, when I promised Mom and Dad I'd always protect you. I just didn't realize until now who I needed to protect you from. The headlights get brighter, and I allow myself a small, cold smile. They think they're coming to end this. They're about to learn it's only beginning. The product launch stage gleams under harsh spotlights, a perfect backdrop for public execution. I adjust my wheelchair's position slightly, watching the audience file in. Tech journalists, industry analysts, and somewhere among them, Vanessa and Derek, thinking they're here to witness my downfall. Everything's in place, Ryan murmurs behind me, tablet in hand. The moment you give the signal, Project Ghost's data dump goes live. I nod, feeling the weight of the thumb drive around my neck, the one from our parents' storage unit containing 12 years of buried secrets. And the backup? Elena's ready. If they try to shut down the main servers, they will, I interrupt, watching Derek take his seat in the front row. That's what I would do. The house lights dim. My heart pounds against my ribs as I wheel forward into the spotlight's glare. The audience falls silent, waiting for the CEO of a failing company to announce her last desperate product launch. They have no idea what's really being launched today. Innovation, I begin, my voice carrying through the perfect acoustics, is often born from betrayal. Movement in my peripheral vision. Vanessa slipping into a seat beside Derek. her engagement ring catching the light. Marcus stands at the back of the hall, his face unreadable. 12 years ago, my parents' company faced a hostile takeover attempt. When they refused to sell, their car's brake lines were mysteriously cut. I pause, letting the whispers ripple through the crowd. Today, history is trying to repeat itself. Derek's smile doesn't waver, but his hand tightens on his armrest. Vanessa's phone appears in her hand, fingers flying over the screen. But this time, I continue, we were ready. I press a button on my chair's console. The screens behind me flare to life, displaying internal Matthews Tech emails, financial records, surveillance footage, everything Project Ghost has collected over months of silent infiltration. No! Derek stands, already shouting orders into his phone. Shut it down! Kill the feeds! But it's too late. The data is already spreading across social media, news sites, financial networks. 12 years of corporate crimes exposed in an instant. Then Vanessa starts laughing. Not nervous laughter, not hysteria. Real, genuine amusement. Oh, Lydia, she says, standing slowly. You really should have checked those files more carefully. My screen flickers, then dies. The projections behind me freeze, then shift to display something else entirely. Internal footage from my own company's servers. Project Ghost wasn't just in their system, Ryan whispers, horror in his voice. It was in ours, too. They used it to gather every piece of evidence we needed, Derek finishes, his smile now genuine, including your confession about planting the virus, recorded just now. The audience erupts in chaos as security teams flood the aisles. Not my security. Theirs. The thumb drive, I say to Ryan, but he's already backing away, hands raised as guards approach him. I'm sorry, he says. They got to me last week, offered me immunity and a position at Matthews Tech. Vanessa walks onto the stage, her heels clicking like bullets against the floor. Did you really think Marcus found those files by accident? That I'd leave something that important unprotected? She reaches down, snapping the drive from my neck. Everything you did, every move you made, it was all part of our plan. Even your parents' files were carefully crafted bait. The accident, I managed through numb lips. Your father had nothing to do with it, she says softly. It really was just an accident, Lydia. The only crime here is what you've done trying to prove otherwise. The guards are getting closer. Elena isn't answering her phone. Grace's number goes straight to voicemail. Why? I ask, though I already know. Because you never saw me coming, Vanessa answers. You were so focused on protecting Marcus from me, you never realized he wasn't the target. You were. She turns to address the stunned audience, her voice carrying clearly through the chaos. Ladies and gentlemen, you've just witnessed a failed corporate espionage attempt. But don't worry, Matthews Tech will ensure Chen Innovation's assets and employees are protected during this transition. The guards reach my chair. I see Marcus finally moving forward, but he's too late. He's always been too late. One last thing, Vanessa adds, leaning close to whisper in my ear. The wedding's still on. After all, your brother needs someone to take care of him once you're gone. The guards grip my chair handles. As they wheel me away, I catch a final glimpse of Derek and Vanessa standing together on my stage, victorious and untouchable. I've never felt more trapped than in this moment of perfect freedom. The holding cell at Matthews Tech feels more like a cage for display than detention. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook the city skyline, letting me watch my company's stock price plummet in real time on the digital billboards outside. The door opens. Grace walks in, her heels silent on the plush carpet. You knew, I say, not turning my wheelchair from the window. You knew it was a trap. I knew you needed to fall. She moves beside me, watching the financial district's lights flicker like dying stars. The question is, did you figure out why? A notification crawls across the nearest billboard. Matthews Tech CEO Derek Matthews announces emergency board meeting. Because Vanessa isn't working for Derek, I say quietly. They're both working for you. Grace's reflection smiles in the glass. Finally asking the right questions. 12 years too late, but still. The accident. My parents. My hands grip my wheelchair's arms until my knuckles whiten. That was you? Your parents were brilliant innovators, but terrible chess players. They never saw the whole board. She turns, studying me. You're different. You see everything except what's right in front of you. The door opens again. Vanessa enters, followed by Derek. Both look less triumphant than they did on stage. "It's done," Derek says to Grace. "The board's waiting." "Good." Grace straightens her jacket. "Time for the final move." "Which is what?" I ask, though I'm starting to see the pattern. All the pieces falling into their true positions. "Checkmate," Vanessa says, but her voice trembles slightly. She's scared, I realize. We all are. Grace pulls out her phone, bringing up a video. Security footage from 12 years ago. My parents' car, the brake lines intact. And beside it, a figure I recognize. Grace herself, installing something else entirely. "A remote override," she explains. "Standard corporate espionage tool back then. Your parents' company was developing autonomous vehicle software. I simply tested it." "Why show me this now?" "Because," Derek cuts in, "she did the same thing to our systems last month through Project Ghost." The pieces click into place. "You used my revenge plan to infiltrate both companies. And now," Grace smiles, "I own controlling interest in both. Amazing what you can accomplish when everyone's too busy watching each other to watch their backs." A commotion outside. Elena bursts in, followed by Marcus. "Lydia, the secondary servers are mine too," Grace interrupts, "along with everything else. Your little backup plan was adorable, Elena, but predictable." Marcus moves to my side, his hand gripping my shoulder. "What do you want?" "What I've always wanted. What your parents denied me." Grace's smile fades. "Control. Of everything they built, everything you inherited, everything these two thought they could steal." She gestures at Derek and Vanessa. "You manipulated us all," Vanessa whispers. "The merger, the takeover, the engagement," I finish. "Tell me, Grace, did you arrange that too?" "Please," she waves dismissively. "You did that yourselves. Vanessa's ambition, Derek's greed, your paranoia. I just wound you up and let you destroy each other." My phone buzzes. A message from Ryan. "Server room, now. Trust me." "You forgot something," I say, meeting Grace's eyes. "About chess." "Oh? Sometimes the pieces fight back." I tap my wheelchair's console 3 times. The lights go out. Emergency sirens wail. "What?" Grace starts, but I'm already moving. In the darkness, I hear Marcus's grunt as he tackles Derek. Elena's heels clicking toward the door. Vanessa's sharp intake of breath as she realizes what's happening. "The servers!" Grace shouts. "Stop her!" But I'm already through the door, wheeling fast down the corridor. Ryan meets me at the server room, door already open. "Your parents' old kill switch," he pants. "The one they built after the accident." Grace never found it, because she thought she knew everything about them. I reach for the manual override. Some pieces stay hidden until the endgame. Footsteps thunder behind us. Grace's voice echoes down the hallway. "Lydia, don't!" I pull the switch. Every system in both buildings crashes simultaneously. 12 years of Grace's carefully gathered evidence, her corporate web, her control, all of it dissolves into digital ash. In the sudden silence, I hear her laugh. "You really are their daughter, willing to burn everything to win." "No," I say as security lights flicker on, "willing to burn everything to start over, the right way." Through the window, I watch the billboards go dark one by one, taking our corporate empires with them. In their reflection, I see Grace's face, not angry but proud. Sometimes the only way to end a game is to clear the board entirely. The rebuilding process starts with a single email. I wheel through our gutted office space, past empty desks and darkened monitors, composing it in my head before typing. "To all employees of Chen Innovations, some of you have already heard about the system-wide reset. What you don't know is why. The truth is simple. We lost our way. Starting today, we rebuild. Not from the ashes, but from the foundation. The one my parents laid when they believed technology should serve people, not power. Those who want to be part of this new beginning, your keys still work. Those who don't, I understand. Either way, the choice is yours." Lydia Chen. Elena finds me as I hit send. Grace's arrest warrant just came through. They found the original override device in her private vault. And Derek? Turning state's evidence. He's offering everything he knows about her corporate espionage network. I nod, wheeling toward our main conference room. Through the glass walls, I can see Marcus sitting alone, staring at Vanessa's empty chair. "The board approved the merger dissolution," Elena continues. "Once the legal dust settles, both companies will be independent again." "And smaller," I add. "Weaker, maybe, but cleaner." Marcus looks up as I enter. The engagement ring sits on the table between us, its diamond dulled under the emergency lights. She's gone, he says simply. Left her resignation on my desk, along with this. He slides a folded note across the table. I don't open it. Some words don't need to be read to be understood. I kept looking for monsters, I say quietly, never realizing we were creating them, one decision at a time. We all did. He reaches across the table, takes my hand. The question is, what do we create now? The elevator chimes. Ryan steps out, carrying a familiar cardboard box from our parents' storage unit. Found something you should see, he says, setting it down. It was hidden in a false bottom. Inside lies a single notebook, our mother's handwriting filling its pages. The last entry, dated the day before the accident, reads, Grace asked again about the autonomous driving system. She doesn't understand. Technology isn't about control. It's about choice, about giving people the power to choose better paths, not forcing them down the ones we think they should take. Lydia will understand this someday. She has her father's brilliance but her own moral compass. I hope she remembers that when the hard choices come. My throat tightens. All this time searching for answers about their death, when they'd left the most important one in plain sight. The contractors are here, Elena says from the doorway. They're ready to start the renovations whenever you give the word. I close the notebook, feeling its weight, not just of paper and ink, but of legacy and choice. Tell them to start with the foundation, I decide. We need to make sure it's solid this time. Marcus stands, pocketing the engagement ring. I'll help. It's time I built something real again. Through the windows, dawn breaks over the city. The digital billboards remain dark, but smaller lights flicker on in office windows. People returning, choosing to start over. My phone buzzes with responses to my email. Not all of them positive, not all negative. Just honest, real choices made by real people. You know, Elena says, studying the replies, some would say destroying both companies to save them was just another form of revenge. Maybe. I wheel toward the door, ready to meet our returning employees. Or maybe it's what my mother meant about choosing better paths. Ryan picks up the box but pauses. Grace asked to see you, before they transfer her to federal custody. No. The word comes easily now. Some paths don't need to be walked again. The elevator chimes once more. The first employees step out, carrying their badges, their hopes, their choices. I move forward to greet them, leaving the notebook and all its unread secrets behind. Some questions are better left as questions, their answers found not in the past's wreckage but in the future we choose to build. Marcus falls into step beside my chair, and together we face what comes next. Not with revenge or righteousness, but with something harder and more valuable. The simple, difficult choice to begin again.